What is up, guys, and welcome to Digital Perspective. I'm Kalimani, and in today's video we're going to be kind of observing some sort of a quarantine social distancing type thing. Now, you're probably watching this during quarantine or isolation and social distancing, so just to kind of make sure that we are adhering to what the governments in your locations are probably saying. I know in London people are currently in isolation. I came across this really cool article by CNN and some other online newspapers who basically showed us some logos which kind of social distance themselves, which I thought was a really cool idea. Now, without further ado, make sure you hit that likes button and subscribe if you haven't, and turn that notification bell on, because today we're going to be trying some of our own social distancing logo. Let's get into it. So you can see this is the article I was referring to, one of many. You can see some companies have taken into consideration some of their, local distancing logo, and it's really creative. And you can see McDonald's have distanced their arches, Audi have done the same thing, and Volkswagen have done also the same thing. Nike is a little bit different, but again, it's still the same message. So what I thought we'd do is we'll pop over to Illustrator. Now, I've got some logos which I've downloaded. I've got some Photoshop, I've got MasterCard, FedEx Express, and PayPal. And we thought, let's try and do the same thing with that. And so we're going to be starting off with PayPal. And if we go and paste our PayPal logo inside of our artboard, I'm just going to stretch it up. Now, PayPal's logo, what can we do, right? So I'm thinking first what we can do is we can try and separate the two P's. I think that would be a good idea to kind of, again, show you the emphasis on social distancing. So I've gone ahead and recreated their logos. So obviously you can see the little purple, the blue, sorry, the section in between. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag maybe that P out. I'm going to actually delete this and drag this out so they kind of distance from each other, and maybe do even the same thing with these guys here. Now, because obviously they are together in the same kind of compound path, what we're going to do is we're just going to actually go ahead and just kind of go into it, double click inside it. We're going to Control X. Obviously you can see we've got a little issue here with the circle. So the best way to do that is select the circle inside and select the outside. And we want to go and open our, where is it? Pathfinder. And we want to use the subtract or the minus front. And what that will do is that now the A is stuck with the circle. So then we'll continue to take both of them out. I can just Control Exit. I go back to my layer and I'm going to Control Shift V so that it will paste it in place. Or if you click here in Edit, you can see paste in place. And we'll do the same thing with these guys, double click on it. And again, because the circle inside the A is out, so I'm just going to select the circle, select the outer ring, hit minus, and there we go. So I'm going to select the A, select the L, Control X, go back into the layer, and then Control Shift V. So now that we've got that, so now each letter is separate, right? So what we can do is, I'm just going to select everything, size it down a little bit. Perfect. I'm just going to take the last letter, which is the letter L. I'm just going to drag that out here, right? And the reason why I want to do that is because if I select all the letters, and then if I see here on my align option, and if you don't have that, just click on Windows, Align, and that will pop it up as well. You can see this icons here, which is horizontally distribute. And if I click on that, it distributes all the logos from the first shape to the last shape. So that's PayPal. Quite happy with that. Let's make a new artboard and let's do the next one. So I'm just going to copy FedEx, paste it into my artboard. I'm going to size it up while holding the Alt and Shift. Now, what can we do with the FedEx? Now, again, you probably have the same situation where the FED is connected together and then the E and X are separate. Now, one thing which I'm not sure if you're aware, but FedEx actually have this hidden arrow inside their logo, which I thought was always quite nice, right? So let's play on that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Fed and the E, I'm going to push it all the way to the edge, and I'm going to take the X and I'm going to drag it there, so there's a bit of a distance between them. And then because we want the arrow to still be there, what we're going to do is we're going to go inside and zoom in a little bit onto the E. We're going to get our arrow selection tool, but the point one, so that we can select the points. We're just going to select the 4 points here, right? Because these are what make the arrow shape here. So you can see that we still maintain the arrow shape there, right? Very simple, perfect. I'm just going to leave that as this. And if we go to our next one, which is MasterCard, again, I'm just going to copy the MasterCard, go back here, I'm going to make a new artboard, I'm going to paste that into the middle, hold and shift, stretch it out. Now, I think MasterCard is very simple, right? We're just going to stretch the 2 circles apart from each other. Now, when I created this, obviously I created the middle ring as well. And I think what we can do is just simply delete that, take the red circle and take the orange circle, stretch it, maybe not so much, so that people still know that it's MasterCard. And again, we can do the same thing which we did with the PayPal one and stretch the letters. So what we want to do is we want to double click inside the layer so that we get to select all the options. Now we will have to just do the same thing we did earlier on by just clicking on the outer inner circle, click on the shape, minus that, and do the same thing quickly with any letters that don't have that. So D is okay, A is okay, C is fine, E is fine, and A is fine. Perfect. So I'm going to take every letter, Control Exit, go back into my main layer, and then Control Shift V, so we paste it all there, and then we do the same thing again. So I'm going to take, oh, it's still connected, ungroup it. So I'm going to take the first letter, I'm going to drag it until it reaches to the end of the shape. I'm going to take my registered mark and the D and just stretch it until it reaches also to the edge. There we go. I'm going to select everything except the registration mark because I think that's too close to the D and I think it's going to shift it away too far from the D. So select all the letters, find my align tool, so go Windows, Align, and then hit that distribution again, right? There you have it. And that's MasterCard, right? And then with the next one, which is our last one, is we're going to do Photoshop, right? Or the Adobe Photoshop icon. So go back in, make a new artboard, Control V that. Now with Photoshop, I think what we are going to do is probably going to play on the shape. We're going to maintain that shape with the rounded corners there, but we're maybe just going to extend that. So if we take that and we just stretch it, now you can see this weird shape loses its the radius border, so we want to maintain that. So what I might do, just really quickly, since we're in Illustrator and it's very easy to do, I'm just going to create a square in the same shape. Perfect. I'm just going to drag that to the side. I'm going to press the letter I for the eyedropper tool, or you can find it here. I'm just going to select the dark blue inside that, and then you will see these icons here on the corners of the shape. If you just click and drag that, and you can kind of see that you'll get a border radius. Now if you want, you can put it back on top of each other, just to make sure that the radius are almost similar, right? Perfect. Take that out. So now what we want to do is we want to make sure that we add a stroke to it. So click on the stroke icon here. We want to, let's say we want a big stroke, but we want it on the inside. So this here is, it aligns the stroke onto the inside, so you can see that there. So we don't want 20, we'll say about 12. And again, if we select this icon here, which is the icon for the stroke, double click on that. And then if you know the color for the stroke, you can put it in there, but since we don't, what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that this is selected. So remember, if you click on that, the background image color is selected. If you click on that, then the stroke selected. So make sure you clicked at the stroke, click on the blue, and this is obviously what it ends up doing, which is kind of incorrect, right? Because it's taken the attributes of this entire color. So what we want to do is just double click on that, copy the color swatch code. I'm going to Control Z it so that we go back to where we were. double click on the stroke, paste the number, and then boom, there you have it. So now that we've done that, obviously the P and the S are separate, so we can literally just drag them into the center there, but just make sure that they are aligned to the front, right? So the way you want to do that is if you go here, click on your, where is it, object, and then you want to arrange and bring it to the front, right? So we no longer need this, keep that there. So now the good thing is if we stretch this, you can see it maintains the border radius, right? And that's really all we wanted to do. So we're just going to stretch that, maybe not too far, and maybe put the S separately away from there. And there you have it. Photoshop social distancing, right? And you can see all the other ones, you know, it still maintains. Let me do this. Let me just rearrange my icons, my artboards. There we go. So you can see here that all the logos are still maintaining their basic elements. So you can still, people will still recognize what logos they are, but it's just a nice way, I think, of being creative during this time that we have currently with the whole social distancing thing that we are told to practice. So have a go. Share your logos options that you've decided, and maybe done some social distancing designs on them, or maybe do it on your own logo and show us what you think, show us what they look like, and we'll be happy to take a look. But yeah, so hopefully you've enjoyed this one. Please leave a like, subscribe to us, and a comment if you can. It does help us out a lot, and be sure to share this with your friends who may enjoy this. But until then, hopefully you've enjoyed this, and please do make sure that you check out some of our other videos. I'm going to put it here somewhere for other previous video tutorials. We've done a really good one on designing an app for sportswear. I think it was a Nike company that we did it for. Be sure to check that out, and until the next one, peace.